One of the things that I'm always going to hate is the way that there is this double standard when it comes to Xbox versus PlayStation. It doesn't matter that Microsoft shoots themselves in the foot. It doesn't matter that, Microsoft might do more harm than good. It really just happens to be that the gaming industry as a whole tends to treat Xbox and PlayStation differently, and I think that's something that kind of aggravates me more so than anything else. I think it's really a shame to see stuff like this happen. But at the end of the day, it really kind of comes down to how everybody else feels about this stuff. So I'm going to give you guys a very good example of some of this discourse that we see, and then you wonder why Xbox was maybe forced to do something like put games on PlayStation or whatever. Sure, I think that a lot of it has to do with their own issues and things like that. But so I'm looking at this article, and this article is from Games Radar. Just happens to be one that popped up. It says Xbox has expanded its multi-platform strategy, and it should have arrived soon enough to save Halo Infinite. Before 343 Industries scaled back development of Halo Infinite, the Xbox exclusive should have lined up alongside Grounded and Sea of Thieves for release on PlayStation 5. So we see that a lot of the sites like this, even IGN, even a lot of the Xbox influencers, and listen, I am not taking a shot at any Xbox influencer. This is just, a lot of people make their living. If you're an Xbox influencer, there's probably a good chance that you make your living through talking positively about Xbox. You get, perks from Xbox. If you were to go against what they want you to say, then they would probably cut you out from the fray, and people don't want that, right? So Microsoft Gaming clearly is expanding beyond the borders of the Xbox ecosystem. Obviously, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Pentiment on PS5, some landing on PS4 and the Switch. Xbox honestly has released 75% of their titles this entire generation elsewhere, so it shouldn't really come as a surprise, to be honest with you. Honestly, we should have expected it, because when you think about it, and people might go, oh well, there's signed deals and things like that. That's why. Well, it's like, I guess, but they probably, as Microsoft, could have got away with it. I think they secretly liked the idea that, they had to release these games elsewhere, because it saved them from having to kind of answer to fans and things like that, and they could test the water. So when they release a Deathloop on PlayStation first, or they release a Ghostwire Tokyo, first on PlayStation, or Wasteland 3 that had to come to PlayStation, or Psychonauts 2 that had to go to PlayStation. When they do stuff like that, I think that they secretly like it. But anyway, plenty of articles going around talking about how they should release Halo, how they should release Gears. But let me tell you something real quick, just as a fan of Xbox. Xbox, if they ever release Halo, Gears, Forza on these other competing platforms, you know that it is officially over, because those games are 100% what Xbox is known for, right? It would be like Nintendo releasing Zelda on Xbox. You know it would be over. It would be like Sony releasing The Last of Us and God of War on Xbox. You know it would be over at that point. So, but that doesn't stop the media from kind of doing these types of articles nonstop. And then when you look at stuff about PlayStation 5, right? And here's this one that I saw on Game Rant. Why the PS5's lack of first-party exclusives in 2024 might be a blessing in disguise. PlayStation owners have lamented Sony's decision not to release any first-party games until 2025, but this could actually be a good thing. And guess what? This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. Back when I was all in on Xbox One, we had articles like PS4 has no exclusives this year, and that's genius. That is legit an article that we've seen. So Sony's recent statements on PS4 future draw criticism, resulted in concerns about the console's value and sales projections. Investors cited poor profit margins due to Sony's controversial strategies and truncated PS5 sales projections for the fiscal year. Lack of first-party exclusives this year may be a strategic move to push the hardware's potential and redefine the PS5 in 2025. So, obviously, Sony stock tumbled in mid-February following the announcements that the PS5 didn't land well with players and investors who spoke up about their withdrawal cited poor profit margins in 2023, which weren't helped by Sony's truncating of PS5 sales, which again, it's not even really bad sales. They sold 21 million and they expected to sell like 20, or maybe they sold 22 million and they expected to sell 25 million. So they were a few million off, but I don't really think that that's like terrible or anything like that. So the reasoning the gaming audiences are reacting poorly to referring to the PS5 as being in the latter stage of its life cycle is because it implies that the console has passed its peak, when it does feel like the opposite is the case. 2024 will mark 4 years since the console launched in December, and while technology advancements in fast-loading solid-state drives, ray tracing, and higher frame rates are noticeable, it doesn't feel like the same technological leap as the PS4 was to the PS3. Again, I feel like this generation is sort of weird because we all had these weird lockdowns and things like that, and we're sort of still facing those issues, right? So to me, when we see that kind of stuff happen, we kind of maybe question what's going on with that. And I think Sony is paying the price for that right now. 3 years after its launch, the PS4 received games like Uncharted 4, The Last Guardian, Bloodborne, which all felt like a significant step forward. The PS5 arguably hasn't had these watershed releases because their biggest releases, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, have been cross-gen. Yes, they released Spider-Man 2, but I gotta be honest, right? Spider-Man 2 hasn't resonated with me the way that, maybe the first game did. I don't know. There's just something about it that feels kind of off in general. If Sony's 2025 first-party games serve as real turning points for the PS5 in terms of fidelity, performance, or other things, it could reinvigorate it. The PlayStation 5 has sold well, obviously, and we're not to these points where these consoles are going to ever drop down. You guys remember, to anybody who was, a console gamer back in the day, we had these different situations where consoles will continually drop prices back in the day, right? At the Xbox 360, these different consoles will drop down and eventually hit like $199, and that would be like kind of a sweet spot. Like the PS3 even did that, right? They had to keep dropping the price, but at the end of the day, we're at this weird situation where you can't do that anymore because these things are so expensive. It's just one of those weird things. So, I have a kind of a loss for words when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, again, it does seem like there's this double standard. Yes, Microsoft isn't doing everything great, but I think they deserve a little bit more leeway than what they're actually getting, and hopefully they can end up getting that. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but for my personal and my personal taste, it does feel a little bit strange, to say the least. And Microsoft is never going to get the benefit of the doubt from anybody or any outlet. So hopefully gamers can kind of give them a little bit of a benefit of a doubt after all this stuff, because it's just gaming after all, right? I know a lot of people take it really seriously. I do. I love gaming. I think it's great, and I want my games to last a long time and be able to play them, the digital stuff and even the physical stuff that I bought. But I also want there to be kind of a fair shake in all of this, and it doesn't seem like that's been the case so far. So I don't know, you guys, let me know what you guys think, though. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Rack 'em up. I'm Crap Gamer. Crap Gamer out.